and welcome to another video. Today it's going to be a slightly different video to what I usually do. This is going to be one of my kind of career focused videos, and it's going to be all about knowledge and having knowledge and where you get that knowledge from. So it's going to be about reading, because that is generally how you get knowledge, from reading. I know that might sound a little bit boring, but reading is so important. Now this video would be perfect for anyone who's wanting to get into the fashion industry. This video is all about wanting a career in fashion and the knowledge you need to make that career happen. Or even if you just love fashion, because if you love fashion you want to read about it probably. So I'm just going to crack on. There's going to be two of these videos. First of all, this video is going to be about books and magazines, and then the second video I'm going to do is going to be blogs and websites and all like online reading. So this video is all offline, so it's old school, very traditional, good old fashioned reading from a book. So yes, that's what it's going to be, and I'm also going to be doing a similar kind of video to this, but more PR. So it's going to be all about PR reading. But this one is going to be fashion. So let's get started. Okay, now a lot of these books that I'm going to be talking about are quite expensive. So what I do, any book that I buy, whether it's fashion, whether it's fiction, any book, I always buy off Amazon because they are so much cheaper. Like, it's just crazy. I would never ever, I would never ever think of going into a bookshop and buying a book. Like, unless it was like a second-hand bookshop or something, but I would never go into like Waterstones or WH Smith or something and buy a book, because you can just get it like sometimes less than half the price on Amazon. So yeah, all these books are quite expensive, but they are much cheaper on Amazon. So I will be giving you the prices. Anyway, let's get started, because this is going to be a long one, I have a feeling. So my first book that I'm going to talk about is, well, Vogue call it the Fashion Bible. So if you want to get into fashion, this is really an important book for you. And I will tell you what it's called. It's a very simple name, but effective, and it's big. It is the Fashion Book. I told you the title was simple, but it's straight to the point. It's what it is. It's a fashion book, and basically, this is like an encyclopedia for fashion. This is like been out before. It was released in, I have to sit it down because it's so heavy, I think in 2001, but they've just come out with a new version. This is the new version that they just released at the end of last year. So this is like totally up to date, and yes, if you want to get in fashion, this is such an important book, I think. It was £25 on Amazon. It'd be much more expensive if you bought it in a bookstore. And as you can see, it is absolutely huge and it's very thick. But yeah, basically, I will be showing you inserting clips of these books so you can see, because I'm not going to hold this up and show you every page. It is huge, but basically inside you have an encyclopedia, so it goes A to Z of all the important people in fashion. So you have designers, photographers, stylists, models, editors, makeup artists, all of that, all the important people, icons that have been in fashion throughout the years, going right back to like the beginning of the century to, well, the beginning of the 20th century, and right up to like now, even beyond the 20th century. It's basically all the important people that have been in fashion up to today, and I absolutely love it. Although the cover does my head in. But yes, so really important book. And what I like about it also is that it doesn't have loads of writing. You know, like these books that you just get totally scared of because they have loads of writing. Well, they don't. Basically, as you will see from the clip I'm inserting, it is just like, you know, a little bit of writing about the person and then a kind of image showcasing their work or a picture of them. So yeah, it's not a scary book to read, it's not going to take you ages, but it's just really good information if you want to know something quick about someone. And yeah, it's a really nice book, but it's very, very heavy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's the first book. And the second book is kind of along that line, but if you're looking for something a bit cheaper, well, a lot cheaper, there is this one, Fashion Brands, Branding Style from Armani to Zara. So this is more about how the fashion industry works and the kind of history of the industry and what is involved. So it's a little bit more businessy, but you know, it goes through the brands, and it's just about how they work. It's got a bit of high street, a bit of designer, and yeah, it's a really, really interesting book as to how the industry works. You know, everything from manufacturing to the marketing of it, to, you know, the important designers, the different markets in fashion, all of that, you know, right from haute couture to high street. And this book, I picked this up in one of those like really cheap bookshops for 99 pence. So I mean, that's just so cheap. It was only that cheap because it's quite old now. I think it's 2007. But I mean, as a background to fashion, I think it's still really, really handy, and mega cheap. So you would probably get that on Amazon as well. Now moving on to my third book, and so this one is The 100 Ideas That Changed Fashion. Now this is a kind of series of books. You get lots of these books, like 100 Ideas That Changed whatever. So this one is 100 Ideas That Changed Fashion. And I just think it's a really, really cool book. It just, as the name suggests, it's all about, you know, 100 things in the world that changed fashion, whether that be the concepts, inventions, events, certain trends, you know, like the invention of cotton, the invention of nylon, that totally changed the industry. You know, the whole celebrity culture, things like that, that's what they're talking about in this book. So it's not really to do with certain people as such, like my other two books were, or designers or things. It's to do more with things that have happened in the world, inventions, as I said, events that have changed the course of the fashion industry. And it's really, really interesting, and just gives an amazing background into fashion, and you know, why we wear big sunglasses, why we wear jeans, why underwear is shaped the way it is, kind of thing. All that, it's just really, really interesting, and I think it's a really, really good quality book. The pictures are really, really good quality, and I love it. I picked this up for £10 on Amazon, so again, not expensive. Now, as well as knowing about things that happen in the industry, events, collections, designers, there's going to be, like any other industry, if it was like engineering, maths, English, you're going to hear words that you don't know what they mean. Terminology. And fashion terminology is really, really important if you want to work in the industry, because you need to understand what people are talking about. And if you're reviewing a collection, if you're, you know, talking about a collection, talking about a designer, talking about the clothing, you're just going to be hearing a lot of words that, like, I'm quite often having to Google, and I'm like, what does that mean? You know, like when it was Fashion Week and you're trying to write about a collection, and you're trying to be like, oh, what is that material called? Things like that. So it's really good to have a kind of terminology book. So this one that I have is Fashion A to Z, an Illustrated Dictionary. Now this was so cheap, and I really, really recommend it. It's a lovely book. This was only about £4, again off Amazon, and it's just really, really handy. It it's got, even though it's a small book, this is also what I like about it. It's nice and compact. It's not a huge book that you can't even lift. Even though it's really compact, it has loads. The writing's quite small, so it just like packs loads in there, but also has the odd illustration for, you know, if you're really stuck with the description, you're like, well, what is it? They often illustrate it for you. So it's just a really great book for terminology, which is just so important. Now this little book is so cute, and again it's so cheap. It was only £5 on Amazon, and this is quite similar to the book I was just talking about. It's another terminology book, and this is called The Little Dictionary of Fashion by Christian Dior. So this was first published in 1954, and the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum, republished it quite recently. So it is more about like, you know, vintage fashion. A lot of the words still relate to, like, you know, are still used today, like blouses and, you know, detailed dots, dressing gowns. We also use those words, but it's just a really nice look into, you know, what the fashion was back then and like what the words were that they were using. This one contains a lot more fashion terminology, but this is just a really sweet book. It's very kind of vintage looking, and it's really nice to think that Christian Dior wrote this. I just think that's really nice and very historical, and just it's so cheap again. I would definitely pick this up. Moving on to books that are more about people, because there's so many influential people in the industry that you should know about. You should know who they are, what they're about, how they came to be where they are, things like that. And you will also have like your favourite people that you want to know about. So you're not going to buy a book about everyone that's in the fashion industry, but what I would do is I would choose my favourites. So I'm going to show you my favourites. First of all, starting with designers. One of my favourite designers is Balenciaga, and this is the book. Again, it's so big. Now these books are expensive. I think I picked this up for £30 on Amazon, but you know, that was cheap. Like, this book is usually about £50 on, I'm just looking on the back, and that is the price on the back of it. It's £49.50. So that is very expensive, but as I said, I think I got it for about £30 on Amazon, so a little bit cheaper. And it's just such a nice book again. It's very pictorial, and that is the word, and it's just really nice. It goes through all the kind of standout pieces that have been going since Balenciaga started, but it also gives a lot of information about the designer, about the company, how it started, how Cristobal Balenciaga started the company, who he was, how it's changed over the years, and all the different pieces that, you know, are now in museums and things. I mean, it's an absolutely stunning book, and I really don't look at it enough, actually. But these books are very special, you know. They're just very beautifully made, and for me they're well worth the money. But you wouldn't buy this for every designer, so that's why I'm saying, like, you would choose a designer that you really like. So I also have Alexander McQueen, and this is really cool. I'll see if it'll show up in camera. Like, as I go like this, is it going to do it? Can you see it changing into his face when I put it back like this? And then as I put it forward, it goes into a skull. I think that's so cool. So yeah, this is all about Alexander McQueen. Obviously he's no longer with us, but it's a really special book. Again, it's the same idea as the Balenciaga book. It's very pictorial, and it's very dark, because Alexander McQueen is, you know, his collections have always been quite dark, I would say, hence the front cover. But yeah, there's not as much writing in this one, so it is mainly based on pictures and images with kind of quotes from him. It's just such a beautiful book. So this was about the same price, I think about £30. Then we have, if you're looking for something a bit cheaper, if you think those books are just too expensive, there's a series from the V&A, and they do a kind of series of autobiographies for designers. So this one is Dior by Dior, and this was so cheap. This was about £5, but they do lots of these, as I said, like, so, you know, just type in your favourite designer into Amazon with the V&A publishing and see if they've got one on your kind of favourite designer. The Dior by Dior one is really good. I think if you want to be in fashion, you should know the background to Dior. So yeah, recommend that. And then of course, Coco Chanel. There's so many autobiographies written on Coco Chanel. Or biographies, I always get confused if it's an autobiography or a biography. Because obviously she didn't write this. This one is by Justine Picardi. This was £15, this book. But as I said, you get so many, so just have a look at which one you want to get. But yeah, another designer that you should really know about. Moving on to In My Shoes by Tamara Mellon. She is the co-founder of Jimmy Choo, and I would really recommend this book because it gives an insight into the business of fashion and how difficult it is sometimes to get into fashion. And also because she was kind of she grew up in Chelsea, she was from a very rich family who were friends with very rich people. So it's a really interesting book. It gives you insight into that kind of world of the super rich and who they mingle with. You know, celebrities and royal family and things like that. But yeah, it's a very interesting book into how she struggled. It's a really, really interesting story behind Jimmy Choo, how the brand came about, and how it's not always as easy as you would think. And you know, for the super rich, you think because she's rich she can do whatever she wants, but no, it's really interesting, and I'm really, really enjoying this book. It's a great story. Then moving on to, of course, Anna Wintour. This one is Front Row Anna Wintour, What Lies Beneath the Chic Exterior of Vogue's Editor-in-Chief. Now this is a really, really good book for Anna Wintour. As I said, I think there's a few books on Anna Wintour. This one was, I'm not sure how much this one was, but I think it was quite cheap. I think it was maybe about £12 on Amazon. But this one's quite good because it takes the opinions of 200 people who at some point have known Anna Wintour, because you know she's thought of as quite a character, but she is probably the most influential person in the fashion industry. She has a lot of power and she's very renowned for her kind of cold exterior. So it's a very interesting book and well worth a read. And then moving on to one of my favourites, which I'm actually yet to read. I can't really say it's one of my favourites, but it was a book that I was desperate for. I got it for my birthday, and it is Grace, a memoir by Grace Coddington. Now I actually saw this, I actually heard about Grace, sorry, through watching the September issue, which I would definitely recommend. It's a movie you can again get on Amazon, and it just takes you through the September issue of Vogue, and because it's the most important issue of any fashion magazine, and especially at Vogue, it just showed you how the magazine came together. And Grace Coddington is the creative director of American Vogue. She was a British model, so she is British, and like Anna Wintour, but they went across the pond to America. So she's a really, she just seems such like an interesting character, kind of quirky, and her relationship with Anna, how they dealt with each other. It was just really interesting. So I really wanted to get her book, and I'm very excited for reading this. And that I think is like £17 on Amazon just now. Okay, so that's all my books. As I said, there's some in there that I would really recommend, you know, you getting, and then there's some that you can kind of choose, like the designer ones. I would say like you choose what's your favourite designers, and then I would like, you know, read up about them. But definitely like the fashion book, the terminology books, they're all mega important. And as I say, knowing people like Anna Wintour, Coco Chanel, Dior, all the kind of icons and people that have, you know, are so influential and important to the industry, it's crucial really that you know about them. And yeah, it will help you in working in the fashion industry and, you know, getting that step ahead of someone who maybe doesn't know the same information. Okay, so moving away from books and moving on to magazines. Magazines are very important because, you know, books do date, but magazines, obviously they're coming out all the time, so it's always new, it's always fresh, and especially like for things like trends and collections. So my favourite ever magazine will always, I think, be Elle magazine, and here it is here. It is, I subscribe, so this is the special subscribers cover. I started reading Elle in December 2007, that was the first issue I ever bought, and I've never missed an issue since. I think subscribing to Elle is one of the best subscriptions. If you're going to subscribe to any magazine, subscribe to this one, because as I say, you get a special subscribers cover every month, and you also become part of the Elle Club and you get lots of discounts off brands and things. But the actual magazine itself is very, very modern. It's, I would say, the most modern of all the fashion magazines, and it's just the whole layout and their approach to fashion. They always get the best cover stars, I think. You know, a lot of fashion magazines on their covers are like people, you know, that have been in this movie that you've kind of heard of, up and coming actresses. Yeah, whatever. Like, I'm just like, with Elle, they always get, you know, the big superstars and the big supermodels. I think it's so important to feature models on covers, because a lot of like the time with this like celebrity culture, it's just all about celebrities, and with fashion, I think you should have models on the covers of fashion magazines, and Elle really do that. Yeah, this one is actually Katie Holmes. So obviously, you know, a big superstar actress, and she looks stunning in that dress. So yeah, they really, my favourite aspects of Elle are their great covers, their great shoots. They do brilliant fashion shoots. Their fashion directors, Anne Marie Curtis, she's very good. Her, like, honestly, like, so creative. And also the trend information, they really bang out the trends, make it clear and give you really good alternatives, and they also feature a lot of high street. So I love Elle. And now, keeping on the Elle theme is Elle Collections. They bring out, this is kind of a biannual, so twice a year, one for each season, and this really is a must. If you're not really into buying magazines, I would still buy this, because this will give you the rundown of each season. So this is the most latest one. This is Spring Summer 2014 collections, and I just love this. I mean, a lot of magazines are now bringing out this kind of thing. Like, I think Marie Claire just brought out one, but Elle, oh my god, Elle do it so much better, honestly. They just do really unique one-off interviews in it. The way the magazine is put together, as you will see from the clip I'm inserting, is just so beautiful. They use the most beautiful paper, the most beautiful images, you know, special behind the scenes images from Fashion Week, the best of the shows. It's just an absolute, like, I never throw these magazines out. I always keep them because they're just so beautifully made. Now, moving on to another of my favourite magazines, and I also subscribe to this one, is In Style magazine. I don't like it, you know, again, I don't think their covers are that stand out. They don't have a special cover for subscribers or anything, but I really like this magazine for fashion news. So keeping up to date with the latest collaborations and just news within the industry. They're very good at that. I think they do that slightly better than Elle. So that's what I really like this magazine for, is the more the fashion news. Now, finally, my last magazine is the Blogosphere magazine, and this is a brand new magazine. It is Blogosphere magazine for bloggers about bloggers, and this is only issue 3, so it started in January this year, and it is a brilliant magazine. It's relatively thin, but it just gives you all the information you need. It highlights bloggers in all different industries, so fashion, beauty, food, travel, lifestyle, photography. But obviously I pay more attention to the fashion side of things, and it is Anna Hart from South Molton Street Style who chooses her 5 favourite bloggers from the month, and kind of tells you about them. It's really good information. It gives you like their email address, it gives you what camera they use, how many monthly views they've had, and it features a post about them. So it's just really good information for reading about bloggers. I'm going to be touching upon that in my next video with more of the online things, but this is definitely a great magazine for finding out about bloggers who are very, very important to the industry. So I would definitely keep an eye out for this. I don't think you can buy it in most newsagents. I get it online, and I'll leave the link to where I buy it. Okay, so that is everything for that video. I'm going to leave it there. My next video, as I said, will be more about online reading, which is easier to access, but I think books are just so important. It's the whole feeling of buying a book and getting that information. Like, you know, the Grace Coddington book, the information won't be online. You need to buy the book for that, and it's very in-depth reading. So, you know, I think you become a specialist when you start reading books, rather than just reading articles here and there. Link below the blog post on this video, where there's more images, and it just runs through all the books and magazines that I just mentioned. So if you felt like that was a bit of a ramble and you want to go and check what I said, then I'll link that blog post below, and all the information will be below anyway, with the books and things and the links to where you can buy them. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and subscribe if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and also if you're wanting to see the next one. Yeah, leave a comment and tell me if you like these kind of career focused videos and kind of improving your chances of getting into the fashion industry. I hope it helps. So yeah, I'll leave it there for today, guys, and I will see you in my next one. The online video should be up in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. Okay guys, bye!